Stop wasting time. You've probably heard this thousands of times. Whether or not you've tried to stop scrolling on TikTok, or whether or not you just completely ignored the warning. That is not what I'm here to discuss. I'm here to discuss reasons why you should stop wasting your time. Because I could sit here all the time saying that you should stop wasting your time because you'll feel better or you'll be more fulfilled in life, because that might not always be true. There are some people who feel true fulfillment from scrolling on TikTok all day. And I'm not one of those people, but I know a couple of them. There are also people who don't feel fulfillment in anything, so scrolling on TikTok just becomes the default. Both are sad existences, all things considered. Whether or not you like to admit it, both of those scenarios are not the favorable outcome. Both of those lives are terrible ones to lead. And if you're ever in that position, I really feel sorry for you. But for everybody else, all the other 99.9% of people, we really need to start going. We need to get those gears turning. We need to start thinking differently, start doing things. Because honestly, there's no reason not to. There is no real reason to not do something. You know, if it's fulfilling, there is no risk to it. Either you die with regrets from not doing it, or you might die doing it and still at least you can say dying that you tried. And that's something I've always sort of told myself, like, even if you died doing this, would you have rather have died doing this than died not having done it? And that's quite the stance to take on it, in my opinion. It's definitely a different view. But not many people take it, which I find odd, because it seems like such an apparent thing, especially for somebody who's been living by that most of their lives, somebody who's taken this to heart. But for some people, they just can't seem to stop themselves from wasting their time, scrolling away, whatever they may be doing. They rarely ever are doing what they actually want to be doing. So that's a question I would like to ask you. You can comment with your answer if you really want to. But what do you find fulfilling? What are the things in this world that really make you feel better when you're done doing it? And I would just say, simple piece of advice, keep doing those things. Keep chasing that fulfillment, because that fulfillment is always going to be more long-lasting and more beneficial than the hit of dopamine you'll get from the funny reel. And this goes for myself too. Again, I say it in almost every video, but I'm not above any of the things I talk about. And right here is a prime example. I spend way too much of my time doing things that waste my time. And I would argue with you that school is one of those biggest waste of time that I didn't need to do. But that's a whole conversation for a whole different video. But daily, I end up finding myself scrolling through YouTube shorts. I find myself zoning out on these things. And I just can't get my brain out of it. I can't space myself from this space. You know, I can't find the sanctuary. I can't even perceive the satisfaction I would get from doing other things, because I'm so wrapped up in that thing that I'm doing, in that video that I'm watching, in that short I'm laughing at, that meme I find funny, whatever it may be, it's still not an excuse. It's still not a good reason for me to stop chasing these things I've dreamed of all my life. It's still not a good reason for me to waste my life. But I do it anyway. It's such an addiction. I can't even imagine a world without these things. But nonetheless, I keep coming back to it. I am addicted. And it's hard to admit that. Again, the first step is always admission. But I feel like we should be comparing short form content specifically to almost a type of drug, because that's what it is. It's constant dopamine hits. It's just like any other drug you can find out there, and it's doing the same negative things. Maybe on a less scale, I do admit, but it's still doing that. That's still happening. You're still gaining those disadvantages and all those things you do want to do. So I ask you this on this Halloween night. Why are you wasting time? Why don't you go after that thing you've always wanted to do? Why don't you click off this video right now? Because my videos aren't here to keep your attention. They're here to make you think. So, if you did enjoy this video, I did. I'm usually plug all my other videos, and again, I will have a playlist linked, but I do not suggest that you watch all of them at the end of this video, because this video is definitely not about continuing to watch these things. I will continue to make them, because I always feel like putting more thoughts out into the world will always be a good thing. But I do not want you to watch any more of my videos if you don't find value out of them. And even if you do, don't do it. It's not worth the time watching, listening to me yap about all these different topics. You learn best through experience. And I have been lucky enough to have a lot of experiences in my life, and I've very much so taken the time to not only have those experiences, but learn from them. And that's the reason I'm in this position today. And you will never get to a point where you will feel like you can do this if you don't make more experiences for yourself and learn along with them. So, if you did enjoy the video, you can like and subscribe. Again, this is to start a conversation, so if you do feel like this is a problem, just leave a short little comment. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, that's all you need, but, you know, all this information only travels by word of mouth, so, you know, tell other people. Tell other people to stop wasting their time. Not refer them to this video. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking you to stop them, just like any other addiction you would. So, that has been me. Happy Halloween, and good night.